Ahead of the 2020 election, both major political parties are investing money in local partisan websites that are designed to look like local news sites. It's all spelled out in a new report by Axios called "Local Media Falls Victim to Partisan Politics."
Sarah Fisher wrote that article and joins us now. Sarah, really good article. And, this sort of stuff is not new, though. We've started to see it, during the last election. But walk us through what's happening here. How are partisan publishers using deep pockets to prop up local media? And I should say, when we started to see this sort of thing, it wasn't necessarily connected to partisan groups. It might have been just people, who wanted to get more eyeballs. They're putting out sort of salacious headlines, and maybe they were bloggers. But this is more specific, more targeted, more planned out.
That's absolutely right, Anne-Marie. What we saw during 2018 was you had a bunch of people who essentially just wanted to make money, and they saw that they were getting a lot of engagement on Facebook by creating sites that looked like real news sites but had some hyper-partisan rhetoric. They drove people to have angry emotions. The difference now, leading up to 2020, is you have institutions that are backing such efforts. Now, especially on the left, these institutions are much more transparent about what they're doing. Priorities USA, which is one of the largest super PACs on the left, is being very transparent and saying, look, we're going to be telling stories that matter to us, and we're going to be buying Facebook ads to promote them. You also have a group we reported on 2 weeks ago called Acronym, another progressive firm, that's putting $1 million into a local Virginia news site, and it'll be using the same sort of deal, social distribution. And so the key difference, as you mentioned, is that they're more transparent about what they're doing, and this is having more institutional support than it had in the past. But at the end of the day, sort of the big picture here is that local media is dying, and we have partisan groups that are supporting new local media efforts, and that's different than what we've had in the past here in America.
Sarah, we got about a minute until the president speaks, so let me just ask you, how can people tell if they're on a legit news site or reading partisan propaganda?
Great question. Just take a look at the page of the ad that you're seeing on Facebook promoting a story, or the story that you're seeing on Facebook. And Facebook has added disclosures now that help you see who funds those ads or who runs the page. And just double check and make sure it sounds legit to you. If you haven't heard of it, take a Google guess and make sure it's something that has verified information on the internet about it.
I wish I could tell my mother to read your article, because she's constantly forwarding things that, I'm like, it's so obvious. Just ask yourself a simple question. And what you point out, too, is you try to follow the money, and it's hard to follow. Give me a 30-second answer to that one. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the Facebook ad transparency efforts just aren't as good as they could be. Facebook says that they're doing a lot to improve it. But at the end of the day, when I used to sell ads for the New York Times, we would make sure we knew where that check was coming from. We would check the address from the check, who was sending that money. In automated digital advertising, those checks and balances don't exist yet, so Facebook's working to make them better.
Sarah Fisher, thank you so much. This is really news you can use. This is how to navigate this upcoming election. I wish you could spend a little more time, but
I'll
the
point
president
everybody to your
is
article
speaking.
on Axios. Thanks,
Thank you.
Sarah.